Let's talk more about today with the very cold temperatures and the dangerous wind chills. Animal control has been getting dozens of phone calls to check on animals left out in the cold.
But what do animal control officers look for when they go to check on a pet? Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Rachel Miner rode along with one of their officers and has the details. Rachel?
Rod and Megan, animal control told me they will only take an animal into its care if it's in danger of freezing to death. I rode along as they checked on several animals, and none of the ones we looked at were taken into their custody. But if you're worried about a pet, they told me what to look for and when to call. Scott Lowry has been cruising the streets of Lincoln and checking on the welfare of animals for over 20 years. With dangerously cold temperatures, the animal control field supervisor has been taking calls from people concerned about pets being left outside. Wednesday morning, I rode along with Scott to see what animal control looks for when they go to check on a pet.
With temperatures being, -3, -4, we want to make sure that the dogs aren't, or cats for that matter, aren't outside for lengthy periods of time, and that they have access to shelter.
The city of Lincoln requires any dog that's left outside to have access to a doghouse. It must have a flap on the door to protect the animal from the cold and wind. Officers also check that a pet has access to fresh water. Snow and ice do not count as sources of water. When an animal control officer is dispatched to a home, they try to educate the owner on properly caring for their pet.
On days like today, if we can't get a hold of the owner to bring the animal in, we will end up taking the dog if we have a concern that the dog's in any kind of imminent danger of freezing to death.
We checked on several dogs during the ride-along, none of which were taken into animal control's custody. Each dog was seen to have sufficient shelter, even if they were not using it at the time. Scott says they never want to take an animal, but they have to do what's in the best interest of the pet.
You wouldn't want to be out in these temperatures, even in a doghouse, and your animals aren't going to want to be out in these temperatures either.
Keeping your animal inside where it's warm and dry is the best way to make sure animal control never shows up on your doorstep. If you are worried about an animal's welfare, never hesitate to call animal control. The number is 402-441-7900, and we have that on our website, klkntv.com as well.
Rachel Miner, thank you very much for that story.